The vehicle telematics market is worth over $93 billion, and the automakers sitting in your driveway helped build it with your data. Right now, as you are watching this, there are companies that know exactly where you drove last Tuesday, how hard you hit the brakes at that intersection, and whether you were speeding at 2 in the morning. They know because your car told them, not your phone, not a dash cam, your car, the one you are still making payments on. Here is what your dealership will never tell you. General Motors alone sold driving data from over 14 million vehicles to data brokers, without telling the people behind the wheel. Toyota is facing a class action lawsuit for funneling your speed, your braking, and your acceleration to insurance companies through a shadowy data broker most people have never heard of. And the Mozilla Foundation, after reviewing 25 of the world's biggest car brands, declared that automobiles are the single worst product category for privacy they have ever investigated. Worse than dating apps, worse than smart speakers, worse than reproductive health trackers. 84% of automakers share or sell your data. 92% give you little to no control over it. And the money flowing through this pipeline is not pocket change. It is an $11 billion surveillance economy built on every connected car sold since 2015. But here is where it gets truly disturbing. Stick around until the end, because the final brand on this list collects data so invasive, including your genetic information and your psychological profile, that it makes the rest look like amateurs. Let us start with the brand that kicked this entire scandal wide open. Brand 1, General Motors and OnStar. If there is a ground zero for the automotive data scandal, you're looking at it. General Motors quietly enrolled drivers into its OnStar Smart Driver program and began harvesting everything: speed, braking patterns, acceleration, trip start and end times, and precise GPS locations. They then sold that data to two of the largest data brokers on the planet, LexisNexis and Verisk Analytics. Translation: your car was filing a report on you every single time you turned the key. And get this, one GM driver requested his LexisNexis Consumer Disclosure Report and received over 350 pages, most of it nothing but his driving history over a few short months. Insurance companies use these broker-generated risk scores to jack up premiums. One 65-year-old Chevy Bolt owner watched his rates spike 21% with zero explanation. The Federal Trade Commission stepped in January 2025 and banned GM from sharing geolocation and driving behavior data with consumer reporting agencies for 5 years. Then, in May 2026, California's Attorney General hit GM with a record $12.75 million settlement for illegally selling data from hundreds of thousands of California drivers. Bottom line, GM made roughly $20 million selling your data and is now bleeding penalties across California, Texas, Nebraska, Indiana, and Arkansas. A digital wiretap disguised as a loyalty feature. Brand 2, Toyota. You would think the world's most trusted automaker would stay clean. You would be wrong. Toyota is now facing a class action lawsuit in Texas, alleging that its connected car systems, installed in vehicles from 2018 onward, have been silently tracking mileage, speed, braking force, acceleration, travel direction, and time of driving. That data was piped to a data broker called Connected Analytics Services, which then sold it directly to Progressive Insurance. The real kicker is this: drivers reported their insurance premiums climbing, and when they investigated, they discovered Progressive already had their driving data. No dongle, no opt-in, just a Toyota with a cellular connection doing the work in the background. The Texas Attorney General is also probing Toyota alongside Ford, Hyundai, and Stellantis, and Toyota has 12 separate privacy policy documents. The Mozilla Foundation called them near incomprehensible. Translation: even if you tried to understand what Toyota does with your data, they have buried it under enough legalese to make a lawyer's eyes bleed. A Trojan horse parked right in your driveway. If you are finding value in this investigation, hit that subscribe button right now, because the deeper we go, the worse it gets. Brand 3, Allstate and Arity. This is not even a car company, and that is exactly why it is so dangerous. Allstate, through its subsidiary Arity, built what it marketed as the world's largest driving behavior database, containing data on over 45 million Americans. How did they do it? By paying app developers millions of dollars to embed Arity's software development kit into popular apps like Life360, GasBuddy, Fuel Rewards, and Rootly. That SDK ran silently in the background, harvesting real-time geolocation, accelerometer data, gyroscopic data, and trip patterns, then packaging it all into driving risk scores that Allstate used to raise premiums, deny coverage, or drop policyholders. The Texas Attorney General sued Allstate and Arity in January 2025 under the state's Data Privacy and Security Act, the first enforcement action of its kind. And investigations revealed that Arity monetizes access to 200 million drivers through data marketplaces like LiveRamp. Your car might not be an Allstate product, but if you ever opened GasBuddy while filling up, Allstate might already own your complete driving profile. You never signed a policy with them, you never gave them permission, and yet they have trillions of miles of data on American drivers. A confession booth you never walked into. Brand 4. Ford's hands are not clean either, no matter what their PR team says. Consumer Reports and the Mozilla Foundation both confirmed that Ford maintained data-sharing partnerships with Verisk Analytics, one of the same brokers that helped GM monetize driver behavior. The Texas Attorney General formally demanded that Ford explain its data collection methods, list every third party it shared data with, and disclose the total number of Texas customers whose driving records were sold. Ford's response? A carefully worded statement saying it does not sell connected vehicle data to data brokers and that it stopped sharing data with insurers. But here is the thing. That statement came after the damage was done. Ford's own privacy policy acknowledged the ability to collect race, sexual orientation, and driving behavior data, and despite claiming cooperation, Ford was one of only 3 brands that even responded to Mozilla's outreach. The other 22 stayed silent. Ford pulled the fire alarm after the building was already ash. Brand 5, Kia and Hyundai. These sister brands deserve to share this spot because their privacy violations are practically identical. Kia's privacy policy explicitly states that it can collect information about your sex life. Read that again. Your car manufacturer has written itself legal permission to know about your sex life. Hyundai goes a different direction but arrives at the same destination. Its policy states that it will share data with law enforcement based on formal or informal requests. Translation: no warrant needed. Both brands were caught funneling driving behavior data to LexisNexis through their own telematics exchange programs. Senators Ron Wyden and Edward Markey sent letters to the FTC demanding an investigation into Hyundai's data practices in July 2024. Meanwhile, Kia quietly rolled out a driver score sharing program across 27 European Union countries through LexisNexis. Your dashboard is a confession booth, and Kia and Hyundai are selling the transcripts. Here is a question for you. Go check your car's privacy settings right now, whether you drive a Kia, Hyundai, Toyota, or GM, and drop what you find in the comments. I guarantee most of you have never even seen those settings. Brand 6, Nissan. I saved this one for last because it deserves its own category. The Mozilla Foundation singled out Nissan as the absolute worst offender out of all 25 brands reviewed. Their privacy policy openly admits, to collecting sexual activity data, health diagnosis data, and genetic information, but it does not explain how, and it gets worse. Nissan also states that it can share and sell consumers' preferences, characteristics, psychological trends, predispositions, behavior, attitudes, intelligence, abilities, and aptitudes to data brokers, law enforcement, and other third parties. They are not just tracking where you drive, they are building a psychological profile of who you are and putting a price tag on it. 6 car companies across the industry say they collect genetic data, but Nissan is the only one brazen enough to also claim the right to assess your intelligence and sell that assessment. This is not a car company. This is a surveillance contractor with a showroom, the single most invasive vehicle manufacturer on the planet. The other side, who is actually protecting your privacy? So after all of that, the lawsuits, the secret data brokers, the psychological profiling, you are probably wondering if any automaker on this planet is doing this differently. The honest answer is almost nobody. But there are 2 brands that at least deserve a mention for being the least terrible in a truly terrible industry. Brand 1, Renault and Dacia. Now, if you are looking for the least terrible option, Renault and its budget brand Dacia are the closest thing to a privacy-conscious automaker that exists. The Mozilla Foundation identified Renault as the least problematic of all 25 brands reviewed. The key difference is geography. Renault operates under the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR, which enforces genuine opt-out mechanisms, data minimization requirements, and real penalties for violations. Renault and Dacia are among the only brands that actually allow consumers to delete their personal data. That is not a high bar, but in an industry where 92% of automakers make it nearly impossible to opt out, it is practically revolutionary. The last fortress of driver privacy, held together by European regulation, not corporate goodwill. Brand 2, Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes is no saint. Its luxury vehicles are packed with sensors that monitor facial expressions, voice commands, and cabin behavior. And certain models come with TikTok pre-installed, an app with its own long list of privacy concerns. But here is what separates Mercedes from the pack. It was the only automaker out of all 25 that actually responded to Mozilla's questions about data encryption. That is 1 out of 25. The rest refused to confirm whether they encrypt the personal information stored on your vehicle. Mercedes has also engaged with privacy researchers and regulatory bodies more transparently than its competitors. That does not make it trustworthy. But in an industry defined by silence and obfuscation, basic transparency is an outlier. Think of Mercedes as the least locked door in a building full of open ones. Here is the reality. The automotive industry has quietly built an $11 billion data economy on every connected vehicle sold in the last decade. Your car is not just a machine anymore. It is a sensor array, a GPS tracker, and a behavioral profiling tool. And you are paying a monthly note for the privilege of being surveilled. GM got caught and is now bleeding fines. Toyota is in court. Allstate built an invisible surveillance network through your phone apps. Nissan is profiling your psychology. And the vast majority of the industry is banking on the fact that you will never read the 30 pages of privacy policies buried in your infotainment system. But here is the one thing you can do right now. Go to LexisNexis.com and request your consumer disclosure report. It is free. Then do the same with Verisk. Disable connected services you do not use. Check your car manufacturer's privacy portal and opt out of everything you can. These are small steps, but they are the only leverage you have until federal privacy legislation catches up. The automakers are not going to protect you. The data brokers are not going to protect you. The only person who can protect your data is you. Hit subscribe if you want the truth about what your car knows about you. Share this video with someone who drives a connected car, which at this point is almost everyone you know, because this investigation is just getting started.